What's up, fam? It's Coach Cam back again today with another video. And in today's video, we're going to be discussing how you can get the fastest possible 5K time, right? So I'm talking out of your entire team, out of all your friends. You want to have the fastest 5K time? Listen to this advice I'm about to give you. If you don't know me, I am Coach Cam. I have a master's degree in exercise science. I also ran cross country and track for 7 years, and I also coached it for 3 years. So if you have any information or any questions about running a 5K, leave them down below. But let's go ahead and get started with this video. So to start off, you want to get the fastest 5K time that you possibly can, right? This is gonna take some consistency, some dedication, right? You're not your average Joe out here. You're here to get the best results possible. So to start off, you want to progress on your interval workouts, right? And a lot of coaches and a lot of athletes try to have these fancy creative workouts that they're aiming to get the best results from. Ironically, that's not the main point, right? The main point of an interval or a hard track workout is to progress over time. So if you're constantly changing your workouts, one week it's 400 repeats, the next it's 200s, the next it's 800s, the next it's mile repeats, and you don't ever come back to that workout to actually see if you made progress, you're shooting yourself in the foot and you're kind of just shooting blind and hoping that you are progressing over time. This is some mistakes that I made when I was in college coaching myself and coaching a few of our other runners to do track races, and you know, we were coming up with our own workouts, and sadly we just changed the workout too much and did too many workouts. So pick a workout. It really does not matter, and this is going to be controversial because you think, oh, I need to do 400 meters for this speed, I need to do 1 mile repeats for this pace, blah blah blah. Think about, calm down, think about the 5K, think about the pace that you want to run the 5K at. Say you want to run it at 5-minute pace. In order to run a 5K at a 5-minute per mile pace, you need to be able to run 2.5 minutes, 2 minutes 30 seconds for an 800 meter. If you can't do that, there's no way you're going to do it for a mile, let alone 3.1 miles, right? You need to be able to run 5-minute pace for 400 meters, right? So that's a 75-second 400 meter hit, right? You need to be able to run it for 200 meters. So what's that, 37.5 split? That is a 5-minute pace, right? And so really, you need to progress on your workouts, whatever they are. It does not matter. If it's 8 400 meter repeats, perfect. If this week you run them at 85s with a minute 15 rest, next week you need to run them at 84s or 83s or 82s, or maybe 85 per lap is the pace you want to hold in your 5K. So you just need to lower the rest every single week, right? You did a minute 15. Let's go for a minute 10. Let's go for a minute 5. Let's go for a 1 minute rest between reps, right? That is how you progress over time. So you either need your intervals to be getting faster or the rest times need to be getting shorter. So ideally, I would prefer to tell you to already be able to do the interval distance at your race pace, right? So if you're trying to run 5-minute miles for a 5K and you can hold and run a 5-minute mile for an interval, cool. It's not too hard, not too taxing. For a mile interval is what I'm trying to say. Do a 5-minute mile interval, take a few minutes rest, right? 2, 3, 4, 5-minute rest. Hey, 10-minute rest. Take a 10-minute rest and then do another 5-minute mile, right? And then take another 10-minute rest and maybe do a third 5-minute mile. And then repeat that over time. That's going to be your bread and butter. That's going to be what's going to get you the results, right? So maybe you drop the rest to 9 minutes, then 8 minutes, then 7.5 minutes. And before you know it, you're doing 5-minute miles with like 2 minutes rest. So you're pretty confident you can do a 5-minute mile pace for an entire 5K. So take this mindset, take this approach. Even if it's 400 meter repeats, you need to be progressing week to week. Quit changing the workouts too much. I see too many coaches just coming up with these fancy schmancy workouts they're getting a little lost in the sauce, if you ask me. Because by and large, you need to be progressing on your workouts. Let's talk about weekly mileage, right? So how many miles a week should you be running to have the fastest 5K, right? Some people say high mileage, you need to run 60, 70, 80, 90, 100-mile weeks. Other people say, no, 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 low mileage, right? Well, yeah, ideally you want the lowest possible mileage that allows you to still progress in these workouts, right? So remember, everything is geared toward you improving at your interval workouts. So if you're running 80 miles a week, but you're not recovered enough to get faster at your workouts, then you're running too many miles in a week. And if you're having to ice your Achilles and your shins and your calves just to get through that number of miles, that's also a no-go, right? I've done that myself, so sharing from personal experience, you don't need to worry about how many miles a week you're running, especially even in the summertime. We love to just progress our miles over the whole summer. Well, that sounds cool, but guess what? If you run your whole summer at 7-8 minute mile pace and your race is at 5 minute mile pace, the race is still going to feel a little too quick for you. You would have done better cutting your miles in half and doing actual interval work in the summer, year round, baby. We don't need to do any kind of special periodization schemes. Just train specifically year round, really. I've done it all, but I would highly prefer and recommend that you train year round with the paces that you need to be familiar with for your race, right? So volume, ideally it's low, right? Ideally, I hate to give actual numbers, but 20 to 50 miles a week. You should be able to reach your goals in those numbers. I know people are going to comment and say, that's crazy. The pros are doing 100-mile weeks. Yeah, well, the pros are doing like 3 hours a week of physical therapy and massage therapy, and you don't do all that, right? You're not a pro. You need to get results. And hey, if you're talking about running a 15-minute 5K, that's not a professional level anyway. So maybe for females. But you need to progress on your workouts. You need to have a weekly volume that you can actually sustain, not just get hurt and not have to keep dropping the volume, just keep it at a regular level. Let's talk about long run, right? So we're talking about a 5K here. You don't need to run all that long. And, once again, you're going to hear a lot of different opinions on this, but coming from exercise scientists, master's degree experience, I liked at the time, 10, 12-mile runs. Honestly, I don't think the long run is giving people that much benefit. I think it's really overhyped and overplayed. I think if you improve at your workouts, your time is going to improve, regardless of what your long run looks like. I think your long run could be 7 miles, honestly. You don't need to be able to run that far, right? The 5K is only 3.1 miles. And I know, the special benefits of long runs, the aerobic capacity, the mitochondria, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Look, you're getting that when you train hard. You're getting that on a track when you're doing intervals. You don't need some special, slow, easy run to give you those benefits. Trust me, you're not getting much benefit from it. Do not put your cards and your effort into a long run. Keep the long runs. If you're going to do them, keep them easy, keep them slower. Because you want to be recovered for your next interval day. That is why everything hinges on you making progress in these track workouts. That's the philosophy I am imparting on you, right? And so if you run your long run too far or too hard, too quickly, you will be too fatigued to improve at your track workouts. So do not do that. If you need to cut the long run short, your buddies are doing 15, you're like, hey, I'm going to do 8.5. I'm going to do 9, but I'm going to kick your butt come the next interval day. Do it. Your coach isn't going to be mad at you if you're beating them, if you're faster than them, if you're improving faster than they are. It's just not worth the time and recovery. I remember I was in college running long runs, 12 to 15-mile long runs, and I would go back to my dorm and just sleep and eat, and I felt exhausted because I ran a ton and it's not necessary. It's causing a lot of overuse in your legs. You're having to take ice baths and massage and do stuff like that that you wouldn't need to do if you just took a lower volume approach and trained with a higher intensity with the running. So I would highly recommend progressing your workouts, keeping a lower weekly volume, not putting too much stock in the long run. You can do it if you want to, but I'm telling you right now, if you need to cut your mileage, cut the long run. And next, we're going to talk about easy runs. This is going to be really controversial here. Easy runs are not making you a faster runner. I said it. There you go. You heard it from me first. Easy runs are not making you a faster runner. They're not making you a more efficient runner. They're not improving your 5K time. It's the hard days that are improving it. So you wasting all this time doing easy runs, easy 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mile runs, it's not getting you better. They're easy, and the pace is too far away from your 5K. If your 5K is 5-minute pace and your easy runs are 7 to 8-minute pace, it's not even the same ballpark. It's not improving the specific mechanics that it takes to run 5-minute pace, right? It's slower. You might be doing more of a heel strike or a toe strike, or it's just the mechanics are not the same, and the effort level is not even close to the same. And I think I'll say this, a lot of the reason that there's easy runs built into people's programs is because it's through a school, right? And the schools are open Monday through Friday. And hey, we blocked out this time for the school to train from 4 to 6 p.m. So they got to do something. You got to meet and do something. People are going to start asking questions if the school's teams aren't practicing, right? Well, let them ask questions. You don't need to be out there wasting your time running some easy run. Those easy days are recovery days, right? They're recovery days, right? So why don't you spend some time recovering? When I recover from a workout, or especially a lifting workout, I'm laying on the couch. I'm taking a nap. I'm eating good food. I'm chilling. I'm chillaxing. You're not out there hitting it over and over again. You're not getting better on your easy days. And here's the kicker, your easy days can mess you up, because if you train your easy days too fast or too hard, guess what it's going to do? Right back around what we said earlier, is going to make your hard days suffer. Say you need to be able to run 85s for 400-meter repeats, but because your easy days have been too hard this week and your long run, guess what? Instead of holding 84s or 83s like you should have been able to progress, now you're back to 85s, 86s, 87s, right? You're too tired to elicit that adaptation. Fatigue masks fitness. You and I as runners, if you've ever been a runner for any length of time, you know there's been races that you've run that you were better than that. You were faster than that, but you couldn't produce on the day of because you had too much fatigue in your muscles from doing too much training. So stop doing so much training, focus on quality training and improving those workouts over time. You should also be lifting if you're a runner, because running is one movement pattern. It's not a perfect movement pattern. It can overuse your knees and your calves and your Achilles tendons. You can get IT band syndrome. A lot of different things can go wrong. So you need to be lifting weights if you want to see the best results. If you want to reduce your risk of injury, become stronger, be able to attack those hills and those track workouts with more efficiency and strength in your legs, then you need to be lifting weights, training your muscles hard, contracting them to failure, recovering, and then also aiming to progress on your weight training. Not doing random workouts, but actually making progress over time. Also training very infrequently, especially if you're in season, because you're trying to focus on running, not lifting. And if you're lifting too much, same thing. It's going to come back around and bite you on the hard running days that you need to train as hard as possible on those hard interval days to see the best gains. So train hard, then recover. Then when you're ready to train hard again, train hard again. You can do tempo runs. Tempo runs are amazing. And if you need to do any tempo runs, be my guest. But that is also, I would throw into a harder day, and you need to be focused and attentive for those as well. Don't let your easy days and your long runs trash your entire training plan. Stick to the hard days and actually recover on your easy days. If I had a runner on my team that was running only 15 miles a week, but they're beating me, I'm fine with it, right? Your coach should be fine with that. If you're beating people and you're improving drastically without getting injured while your top runners are getting injured because they're running too much, I would take the guy who runs less miles, but he's more ready for the race. He's more ready to give it his all. If you have a race coming up, the race you want to actually run the 5K flat out, you need to recover multiple days before that race. You want your hard workout to be like 5 or 6 days before this race, and maybe do a tempo type run, a shorter tempo type run, like 2 to 3 days out. And then the day before, or whenever, if you like to do this, you can do a few strides, which is basically like kind of a sprint, but don't go all out, but just quick turnover in the legs, and you should be good to go on the day of. So hopefully this video helped you guys. If you have any comments or questions, leave them down below. I forgot to mention my best 5K time is 16:07. It's nothing crazy, but I think I've learned a lot actually since then, and I know more about what I was doing and what I should have been doing now than I would have back then. So take this for what it's worth. Leave your 5K time below and how you would best train for that. And thanks so much for watching, guys. Go ahead and like, share, and comment, and subscribe if you want more exercise science related content.